Hi, the Wankel engine is back, and today I will tell you about a car that bears such a solution under the hood. Let's go. Over the past few decades, Mazda has released many models, which were powered by a unit in which the piston rotates inside the cylinder. These engines were light, small, simple, efficient, and quiet. In the case of Mazda MX-30, the combustion engine has no direct connection with the wheels, it only serves as a generator. This solution is not new and various manufacturers have been using it for some time, convincing that it is an ideal compromise for people who want to have the dynamics of an electric car and the comfort of long journeys, as in a combustion car. It's a similar story as in the case of classic hybrid systems. Until now, the MX-30 model was powered only by electricity. This issue remains unchanged. The 170 horsepower electric motor drives the front wheels. On board we have a battery with a capacity of less than 18 kilowatt hours, which we can charge from the socket, which should take from 25 to 50 minutes depending on the type of charger. Theoretically, we should drive, according to the manufacturer's declaration, about 80 kilometers, but it all depends on the conditions of our driving. Sometimes it will be 50, sometimes even 100 kilometers. It's all a matter of energy consumption. When the battery is empty, the combustion engine comes in. This can also happen prior to that, because when we press the gas harder, we will hear that it started due to a greater need for power. Its task is to charge the batteries. It is placed under the hood and has a direct connection to the generator. It has a capacity of 830 cubic centimeters, generates 75 horsepower, and the capacity of the fuel tank is 50 liters. I have already driven cars where the combustion engine was only powering the generator, and what I remember is a relatively high gas consumption, although usually the batteries were smaller, so range was also quite limited. That's why in this car I will check the average consumption once the batteries are discharged, so when the pure electric mode is no longer be available and when the combustion engine kicks in. For the time the battery was charged, energy consumption in the city was 17 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. In addition, the trip computer calculated a consumption of gasoline at 1 liter per 100 kilometers because the engine started several times for a short time. When there was a minimum amount of energy in the batteries in the same conditions, the car consumed about 4 liters of gasoline and 11 kilowatt per 100 kilometers. After I entered the highway, the consumption of electricity remained at a similar level, but the fuel consumption jumped to 12 liters, and only after a few kilometers it began to decrease, eventually reaching a level of 9 liters per 100 kilometers. On the road, it looks like the combustion engine is working intensively for a few minutes, and then the car drives on the generated electricity. Unfortunately, we didn't have the occasion to drive the car in city traffic, but we will that once we get the Mazda MX-30 for a longer test. I like many things about this car. I like how this car drives. We have a low center of gravity here, which is a characteristic feature of both electric and plug-in hybrid cars. We have a battery in the floor, which reduces the center of gravity and makes the car quite agile. Even if you decide to take a corner a bit faster but within the speed limit, you will not be surprised by any difficult behavior. The car drives very confidently, and the signals we get from the wheels to the steering wheel are sufficient. The car doesn't have any sporty ambitions, although some people might like the 170 horsepower, especially since the gas reaction is instant, because, as you know, the electric motor drives the wheels. What I like, and what should convince even skeptics of hybrid cars and plug-in hybrid cars, is the work of the combustion engine. When we add more gas, the car perceives it as a need for power. The combustion engine starts. We don't hear any howling. You can feel some vibrations. You can hear that the engine is working, but it is not annoying. As for the vibrations, you can feel it somehow under the seat. It is transferring to the cabin. I don't like it. I'm not used to such vibrations in those areas. Maybe it will suit some of you. I noticed it, and when I asked the engineers if it should be like that, they said that these are pre-production cars, and they still have to work on them a little bit. We'll see. If the car comes to us for a longer time, I'll check if there is a vibration. If there is, I think not everyone will like it. We can also charge the battery only with the combustion engine to a previously set level, but then the consumption of gasoline increases drastically. It is also worth saying that the maximum speed is 140 kilometers per hour, which is not necessarily a thing for people who often drive on German highways and enjoy sections without speed limits. In Poland, theoretically, no one should complain. Mazda MX-30 is not new, but this is my first meeting with this model, and I have to admit that I like the silhouette of this car because it resembles a three-door body. It does have rear doors, but you have to open these first. I like that there is no handle, so you can feel like there are no rear doors. Let's remember how the interior looks like. I like it here. First of all, there is no big tablet. We can use air conditioning or multimedia with physical buttons and knobs. We can operate the menu with this knob. All of this is cool. Of course, people who like traditional solutions will appreciate it, and I belong to them. Similarly, the steering wheel has a lot of buttons to operate what is in front of the driver. Here we also have buttons to turn certain functions on and off. We do not have to go into the structure of this menu. Besides, it's classic. Mazda is famous for it, and I like it too. We have interesting materials, everything is well finished. It's practical, we have a big shelf here. There is a 230-volt socket and 2 USB ports. Here we can store something. Under the armrest, there is a small storage, but it is soft finished. The armrest is soft. When you take the bottles out of the cup holders, you can do something like this, and you can put something here. I like it a lot. In front of the passenger, there is a large storage space. Everything is nicely finished, nice to touch, the interior smells nice. Now it's time to sit in the back. It is not designed for big people and long-distance travels, though I can fit in here. It's nice that we can steer the front seat from this position. There are no air vents here, there is no pocket on this side, only on the passenger seat. Here it is. We will find small pockets in the doors. It's a pity that there are no vents here because the second row passengers are not able to open the windows, so it can get stuffy here when the driver and the front passenger do not direct the vents to their side. In addition, we have an armrest with 2 cup holders. The armrest is soft. There are nice materials, but we also find a little more hard finish. Here, where the passenger would hold his elbow, it is soft, it is okay. However, when it comes to roominess, taller people like 190 centimeters tall will not feel good here. A person of medium height driving behind a driver of a similar height should not complain. When we look into the trunk, we will see that it is the same as in the pure electric version. We have 301 liters available, and interestingly, we also have access to a 230-volt socket, which can give us 1500 watt. To sum up, Mazda MX-30 is a great-looking and well-driving car. Interestingly, the manufacturer offers the same price for the electric version as well as the hybrid version, which has about 30 horsepower more. Currently it costs around 161,000 PLN for the basic version. It's an interesting deal, and when you buy it, a potential customer will be guided only by their needs, not by the price. Let me know what you think about this drivetrain and whether you like MX-30. Thanks for watching this video and see you in the next one.